And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Schmoes Show. I'm Miss Orion, and I am a slave to the capitalist society that we find ourselves in.
I'm Cairo, and I'm a Schmo.
And this is the daily grind we go through to perpetuate this never-ending nightmare that has ceased to operate at its full capacity due to COVID.
Yes.
Everything's so fucked.
At least we have the Olympics. There's actually a YouTube channel I follow.
Yeah,
Sir Swag, who does this monthly news without the bullshit thing.
nice.
And he has a team of people himself that does the writing and someone that edits it. And they had like a little bit in the script where because they were writing it ahead of time, the Olympics had started at that point, but there weren't any like results from it yet. So they had two trackers that they popped up on the screen with the current results. One that was tracking like the top like 5 countries for medals won, and the other one for the number of Olympians that had contracted COVID-19.
Ouch. Oh, speaking about Olympians, did you see that they did a special for the Olympics where they had the Jonas Brothers compete in Olympic trials?
I had that actually kind of sounds interesting
It's not.
because that's like I mean that would give us like the a good baseline for what a normal-ish person would compete at compared to what the Olympians are doing. Like literally for that reason alone, I could see that being mildly like, huh, neat. That's how crazy these people are.
Oh, it's
But
kind of
like not
crazy.
because it's the Jonas Brothers. Like
Yeah.
there's only one of them that's actually relevant or interesting at this point, I think.
Do you have a favorite Jonas brother?
I don't even know their names anymore.
I know there's Nick Jonas. That's the only one I think I remember.
Uh Kevin, Joe, and Nick.
Hey, that sounds like a Jonas.
Yeah, Nick Jonas is definitely the most well known currently, I feel like.
I think he had the best solo career.
Oh yeah, I think he's like the only one that has had a career outside the Jonas Brothers, really. Because like Nick Jonas was in the Jumanji movies, that were really
Oh,
recent ones that were
yeah.
relatively popular, and he actually did a pretty decent job, surprisingly.
I feel like one of them had like a side band.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I
At these instruments, we have Nick Jonas on piano, Joe Jonas on guitar, and Kevin Jonas mandolin.
Are they fucking Mumfords and Sons?
I mean, they kind of were.
Yeah, Joe Jonas had a band called DNCE. They had one album in 2016.
So what has Kevin Jonas been doing?
Body Moves is their only single. Didn't one? I thought one of them did that song "Cake by the Ocean." Yeah, that's also from DNC by Joe Jonas.
Huh.
Yeah. Did you know there was a Target exclusive version of DNCE?
I didn't know it DNCE existed to know there was even an exclusive version.
Damn. So yeah, didn't they have like a little brother that tried being an actor as well?
Probably.
God, we were going down the Jonas Brother rabbit hole.
I
Hey,
found this hurdles thing. This is like actually very unimpressive.
no, what kills me is Nick biffs it like right away.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Little bitch.
So, backstory for me, I actually ran hurdles in high school.
I cannot. I, you're such a tall guy. I can't see that.
I know. I wasn't like super good at it, but I'm also kind of chonky, so I'm not super good at most track and field stuff. I didn't do it for long,
Okay.
but I could beat these guys. 100-meter hurdles. These are like low hurdles too. These aren't that high.
Oh, really? Because I thought those were pretty high, but I am also a guy who just runs in one direction and doesn't
Let
bother
me
running,
see.
jumping.
Oh, maybe I could be mistaken here, and it's
God,
just like a perspective thing. I would have thought they'd be a little bit higher than that. No, okay, those are about right. Three feet.
what the fuck? So Frankie Jonas, the fourth Jonas brother, the really young one.
Yeah.
In March of 2021, Frankie Jonas was interviewed about his continued suicidal thoughts,
Ooh,
alcoholism,
ooh.
and struggle to stay sober.
He's 20.
Jonas
What?
also hated referring to himself as the bonus Jonas.
Well, now that's the only way I'm going to refer to him.
The bonus Jonas.
The
Don't!
bonus
You're going
Jonas.
to hurt this poor child.
How can you not? That's perfect. That's amazing.
Oh, dude. What kills me is that he's 20 and he's having problems with sobriety.
I mean that's definitely amusing to joke about,
Yeah,
but
it's no, it's
I'm
dark.
not that surprised actually with the
Child
way that
stars?
child stars are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he debuted for film
And
in
Ponyo.
2009 with Ponyo.
Yeah.
9 years old. So like,
I'm gonna say this. I thought he was probably the most talented Jonas brother because I thought Ponyo wasn't that bad at voice acting.
mhm.
He's a
Ponyo was voiced by Noah Cyrus.
oh no, I
He
meant like his
plays
character in Ponyo. My bad.
oh his character. Yeah. No, I mean most of the English dub for Ponyo is very well done.
Yeah, um, yeah. Ponyo had a lot of kid actors in it, and it's like the best kid acting I've ever seen.
Hmm. His first on-screen movie role was in Camp Rock 2: The Final Jam. If they made a Camp Rock 3, I'm gonna be pissed.
Is there a Camp Rock 3? I have to find out now.
There would not be a Camp Rock 3. No, there's
Thank
not. So at least they kept to that.
God. Oh my god. I'm finding like things on Google that like are old fan theories about how Camp Rock 3 would go and people this is bad. This is bad. It's like Space Jam, a new legacy. Just let it die. By the
Apparently has
way,
more than 2 million followers on TikTok.
no way.
Yeah. So he was as a result of that now signed to the same agency as his brothers because he's doing so well on TikTok.
The bonus Jonas appealing to Zoomers.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Every time we say bonus Jonas on this episode, he's going to find a way to like just send us an angry email or comment.
Where is this? Link 15. Apparently they did an interview with him. I have to Google this. I have to search in this page now. How many times do they say bonus Jonas in this interview? They say it 3 times.
Oof.
Uh, I can appreciate not liking it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, okay. We're saying it ironically because it's just kind of a stupid term. But
Yeah.
like,
It's very dumb.
if you had your whole identity defined by your older brothers like that, yeah, I can understand that.
Interesting. There's a quote in this article from Joe, presumably Joe Jonas, about it. It says, I refused to call Frankie bonus Jonas after he opened up to me about how that was hurtful to him. It completely makes sense, and we've had lengthy conversations and apologies that showcased my understanding and respect for his wishes.
That's a good big brother right there.
Yeah. And that is the one thing with the Jonas brothers in particular, is that they all just seem like kind of like good people for the most part.
I mean, I don't get an air of douchery from them,
Yeah.
which is more than I can say for a lot of child stars that like were in their same position. If that makes sense. There's a reason why I watched them do those hurdles because I thought they could be likable guys.
Yeah. Like if you look up, what is this? You look up Jonas Brothers controversy. Apparently, Nick Jonas said something controversial on it.
Oh, cool.
He apparently said that he felt like the Jonas Brothers should be no more. That's it. That's the greatest controversy they've had as a collective entity.
I don't think they're bad, but I want them to actually try new things. They're very
Yeah.
safe.
Oh yeah.
That one song that they're promoting right now, "Leave Before You Love Me," I think that's a generally good. That's probably their best song so far.
Hmm. I haven't heard it.
Oh, it's okay. Like it's something if it's on a
Oh,
pop station, I won't turn off. Like Sucker or
oh, Marshmallow. Yeah, he's good.
yeah. Oh, Marshmallow was on it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm?
what? Yeah.
Yep. No, totally fine. Yeah. I want to listen to more of it to make a full decision, but it's not like anything that immediately stands out as awkward or bad or anything at all.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Okay.
fine.
Only Human. That song is not good. Certifiably not good.
Really.
It's like too attached to its hook for me to like it.
When was this released?
What the song?
Yeah.
2019.
Oh no.
What?
That's just not good.
Why?
Only human.
Yeah. The year of our Lord 2019.
I thought this was like a re-upload or something from the dates on it. That sounds so just unoriginal.
Doesn't it?
I get that they're kind of leaning into that with the
With the Okay, so I just discovered something. Can you hear me? Oh, that's fun.
like 10 seconds is I've heard enough.
So, I lost all your audio there because I tried to send this picture to you over my phone on Discord and it just put me into the Discord chat on my phone.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, only human, not good.
Yeah, no,
Certifiably not good.
I agree.
That's the album cover for the single, by the way, I sent you.
Yeah, no, I believe it. Have you seen the music video? It's the first thing that comes up on YouTube when I was searching it there.
Dear
It's
God,
like
no.
it is like that picture stretched out to 3.5 minutes, and it's just not enjoyable.
It looks honestly like something a teenage girl would make on Snapchat or
Hmm.
yeah, like out of filters and little stamps and whatnot and
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. Um,
Yeah, now that we went on a 10-minute rant about the Jonas Brothers,
News.
what do we
So,
got?
God, we I don't know. Do we want to cover anything else with the Olympics?
Um, my
I'll
heart
say
goes
this
out
real
to
quick.
the Olympic athletes that are struggling with
Yeah.
mental illness at the moment.
Yep.
Because,
I saw a video. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, no pressure. You're just on the world
Yeah.
stage competing against the whole goddamn world,
Hmm.
representing your country.
None at all. No pressure at all.
No pressure at all.
Apparently, the world record for the 400-meter hurdles has been broken now.
Ooh,
It's been a long time, I guess. I don't remember the exact number, but it was like, uh, God, let me just find this video real quick because they say it right at the start. Almost 29 years since
ooh,
it was set. And Vox did a really good interview with the former world record holder talking about some of the more like nuances of how a 400-meter hurdle actually works.
okay.
It was actually very interesting. It was the most interesting piece of content I've seen as it relates to the Olympics, and it's with a guy that doesn't even do it anymore.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Taiwan won a gold medal.
Do you mean Lesser China?
I've actually been seeing some very funny discussion about that. How the internet trolls will have to talk about it, whether they'll take the stance of, oh, China won it anyways, or if they'll have to acknowledge that Taiwan is a country in order to then tear them down with some trolling bullshit.
That's hilarious.
Hmm. I think, is it the Philippines won their first gold medal? Is that right? I think that's right. Yes, Philippines wins its first Olympic gold after nearly 100 years.
Nice.
So good job on them.
I saw that we swept shooting, so
Yeah,
go US.
who could have seen this coming?
Did you see like the photo of that one kid that like won like all those gold medals?
No. The only picture I've seen related to shooting is uh the Scandinavian girl who was shooting in like the 10 meter that won silver before because of how relaxed she looks.
Yeah, that's it. My bad. Yeah, I didn't fully
Yeah.
understand that photo, but yes, that's the one I was referring to. I'm sorry, I assumed she was American by how well she was handling that. She's getting complimented by
Let
an
me
American. That's a
see.
big deal.
I'm surprised this isn't coming up right away. It was like a 10 meter or something. It was like super short. But she's doing like the one hand thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's just such a good pose. I can't find the picture. I don't know how I'm not finding memes.
I don't know. I'm surprised the Olympics don't get more memes based off them, considering it's like a world
There we
event
go.
every 4 years.
Right.
Like
Oh,
we
so
don't.
she won gold. Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, it's hilarious to see the I don't even know what you call it. Stupid people that don't understand that it's like an air pistol. It's not a, air quotes real gun.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still a gun, but it's not at all like a firearm would traditionally work. You don't want it's been really dumb seeing these people like try to correct people when they clearly don't understand what the hell's happening.
I am excited to see the Olympics martial arts stuff go on. That's
Hmm.
like always been my favorite.
Yeah.
Let's see. To be determined. Oh, it's not till the 5th? Not fun. I will wait. Because, like, I'm not going to lie, Olympics martial arts to me has always been, like, the closest we've gotten to real life anime, where you have all these martial artists from around the world coming to meet in one location to beat the shit out of each other for glory and honor. It's beautiful.
Hmm.
What's your favorite Olympic sporting event?
I don't even know.
You
I
don't?
couldn't list enough of them to know. I like the biathlon
Okay. That is
or
generally
just
impressive.
the athlons in general.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure the biathlon is skiing and shooting.
Hmm.
Yes, skiing. So it's like long distance skiing and precision shooting with I think like real rifles to a point at least.
So
Anyways,
when's the Magic of the Gathering join the Olympics?
yeah, hopefully never. Doesn't deserve it.
The Greeks would be just like rolling in their grave if that happened.
Hmm. But like for the biathlon in particular, shooting is a lot about steadying yourself,
Yeah.
and cross country skiing is about speed. It's just so like with the triathlons, you're using very different muscle groups, so you have to train very differently than someone who's training for any one of those events. But it's all still go as fast as you can. With the biathlon, there's that really precise balance between the two of them that I just find really interesting and different from most anything else.
Oh yeah. Let this be a lesson to you all. The Olympics is fucking rad.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all right.
Well, it's not the most entertaining stuff in the world, but it's still pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I appreciate it from the perspective of people getting to make a living basically out of these skills that there's not really a system to use otherwise, you know?
True. I've just always enjoyed the idea of the competition of it.
Hmm. Yep.
The world's finest all coming together to kick each other in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
What else is in the news?
What else is in the news? Have we talked about the U.S. pullout of Afghanistan?
I think we've mentioned it briefly a
I
couple
think we
times.
have.
Yeah.
It is still ongoing and expected to be wrapped up by the end of this month. I heard a really interesting like quote of a quote talking about from the Taliban perspective because in the void that the U.S. military is leaving as they're leaving, um, there's been major pushes by the Taliban to reclaim territory, and it's expected that within like 2 years, it's basically assured without some very drastic changes to what's happening that they will basically reclaim Afghanistan. Um, but I have no idea where this quote is from. I don't know if it's legit. I don't know who it's supposed to be attributed to, but I thought it was interesting and not at all surprising. Apparently, allegedly, someone from the Taliban was quoted as having said that they're having to slow down their movements into these areas that were once held by the US military because with the pace that they're doing it, they're getting too far spread out because they're able to go so quickly. Because there's just basically zero resistance in
Of
some of these
course. It's a
areas.
power
So they're
vacuum.
just, yeah, right, exactly. They're just walking in and then they're done.
Yeah.
But there's, of course, fighting going on in like more key areas, but I don't know. It doesn't bode well with how it's gone so far, given how much time and resources and money has been poured into trying to make the Afghan government self-sufficient and able to protect itself, and it seems like it's literally for naught.
Maybe the real weapons of mass destructions were the friends we made along the way.
As we leave our, actually, okay, I was gonna make a joke there about as we leave our interpreters and translators behind.
Fuck.
There was something though on that was passed. Biden translators Afghanistan. That's not how you spell Afghanistan. I spell it
I
the right
really
way.
feel like
Good.
Afghanistan is our generation's Vietnam.
I don't know. So the Biden administration has expanded resettlement eligibility for Afghans amid Taliban gains. State Department's efforts come after the first round of Afghan interpreters and their families have begun arriving in the United States as of last week. So this is a huge change, like complete difference in change as to, I believe it was when the U.S. pulled out of Iran? No, Iraq, not Iran, Iraq. Um, because there was interpreters that were left there. Same with Syria, where the pullout happened so quickly that these people were left there because they're not U.S. citizens, so they can't come with them, and pretty much in their entirety, they all just get murdered as soon as they get found.
Oh, yeah.
Like them, their families. So it is a very welcome change to see that this has changed.
Yeah. I 1000% agree.
Yep.
I'm just. The more I look back at Afghanistan, how it's literally encompassed my whole life, this whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
like, I feel sick to my stomach thinking about it.
Oh yeah.
The waste
Well,
of
20
money.
years.
Yeah. The waste of life.
20 fucking years.
Waste of time.
Just what was it that I heard? Can't remember now. The budget for it is something like $2 trillion that's just been pissed away into private military contractors' pockets.
Yeah. That's what the whole thing was about, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh,
One other interesting discussion that I've seen come up is related to transgender athletes
oh yeah.
as it relates to the Olympics and how it is so much like the next bathrooms thing.
I was hearing people talk about it at work.
It's one of the best things that I saw on Twitter related to it was somebody that just brought up the line that was like, if these transgender athletes are so much better than the people they're playing against, why don't they have any medals? It's true.
Yeah.
None of them do because it's not even in the realm of possibility, or it's not even a question as to whether or not. I don't know. It's frustrating. It's dumb.
A lot of the debate around trans people is dumb. Like, when you think about it,
Mhm.
because, like, it's literally just people trying to pull their own authoritarian stance on their traditional values. But don't listen to me. I'm just some filthy postmodernist, apparently.
Jesus.
What?
So the particular athlete, Laurel Hubbard, that was involved in much of the discussion lately is a weightlifter.
Okay.
Um, she was knocked out of the Olympics after a failed 120 kilogram lift. The winners, you want to take a guess? Do you know these numbers? Have you heard?
No, I have not. Go on.
So she didn't podium at all. This is 87 kilograms and of weightlifting. 120, she couldn't do it. Do you want to take a guess what the second place person lifted?
121?
No. 283 kilograms.
That's more than I've ever weighed.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's
283. What does that work out to? 283. That is 623 pounds.
that's multiple of me's.
600. That is more than two of me. That's almost two and a half of me. That is ridiculously amounts of weight. Like the discussion is just so pointless. Gold medal went to China's Li. I wish they'd have her full name. 320 kilograms, which is like 700 pounds.
Isn't China like doing really good this Olympics as well? Like,
They always do.
yeah.
They have a lot of people. It's almost always China's in first place because they tend to take a lot of golds. That US ends up in second place with less golds but more total medals because they don't do first place and everything, but they tend to be a lot wider in the number of podiums that they end up on.
So more consistent.
I I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Let me
Okay,
see.
fair enough.
It's a nuanced thing
Yeah.
that you know
All they
who
need to
really
know is who
cares.
won the
Yeah.
world wars. We're just here for the victory lap.
Right, because I mean you can take it in either direction. You can say, oh,
Yeah.
gold medals are what counts. China has 29 and the US has 22, so they're doing so much better in there. But then you can say, oh, well, we have two more total medals, 64 versus 62. Australia has 14 golds. Oh, what was that? There's a joke that I heard about that, about the kangaroo people and per capita medals or something like that. It made me laugh.
Just calling Australians kangaroo people is just enough to make me
Yeah,
laugh.
it's good.
Yeah.
Curious where the rest of these medals are. So we have China going by gold medals. China in first with 29, US in second with 22, Japan 17, Australia 14. ROC, is that the Russian Olympic
Republic
Committee?
of Republic of Chad? No.
No, the Russian team, because Russia can't officially compete, but their Olympians can, independent of the country, because of
Wait.
the whole doping thing.
They were doping?
Russia was, yeah. They had state sponsored doping back in the 2016 Olympics, and they had like an 8-year ban.
Holy shit! I never knew that.
Yeah, that was the drama at that one. Because it was found out there's this huge investigation by the IOC that found like not just that their athletes were doping, but that their coaches and their government was sponsoring it and making sure it was happening.
I thought you were going to
It
say
was
the
it was really
coaches were
bad.
doping, which would have kind of been funnier.
It was like systemic, like literally we're putting fake urine samples in the bathrooms, kind of shady shit.
Shit. Why is Russia so shady?
It's Russia, you know.
The Iron Curtain. Yes, I know.
Yeah. Sixth place, Great Britain, 11, and then it
And what? I lost him. He's gone. I miss you, Cairo. I guess I've got to fill in time. Oh, he can hear me fine, but we can't hear him. So I've got to fill in time until he can figure out what's going on his end. Oh, he left the call. Let's see what I can do. Oh, is he back? He's talking, but no one's answering. Can't hear him. Let's disconnect everybody and see if we can get back. And we're back. Are we back? Back like that? Back like Cadillac? It's been a while since we had something like this. No root. Ooh, what is this? Everybody, this is some fun technical shenaniganry. No root. What does that possibly mean? Huh. Oh, am I connected now?
there we go. Can you
Yeah.
hear me now?
No, I cannot hear you now.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm
I
just gonna have
know.
to keep listing off gold medal placements into the void.
I was going to start reciting the whole of One Piece all over from the beginning.
We don't have time.
Yes, we do. If you ever just need to fill in time, I'm just saying, more than likely it'll fill in time.
I don't doubt it.
Oh, okay, we're back.
We are back.
So we ended at Great Britain.
Yeah. So Great Britain has 11, France, Germany, South Korea 6, Netherlands 5, and then there's a bunch with lesser numbers after that.
So you said Russia had an 8-year ban, right?
I don't know if that's right. Let me Google it real quick to make sure if it'll work. Russia Olympic ban. So Russia. Russia received a 2-year ban from the anti-doping agency for its state-sponsored doping program. Between December 17th, 2020 and December 17th, 2022, no athlete can represent Russia at the Olympics, Paralympics, or World Champions. When an ROC athlete wins a gold medal, the Russian anthem will not be played. That's a shame. Russia has good anthems,
They do have some good anthems.
but it makes sense.
We need to do like a tier list of like country anthems.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would take a while. There's quite a few.
I know. Because the only anthems I think I actually like are the ours because I've been exposed to it for my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and the Russian one.
Yeah. Canada's not bad. Solid B.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I gotta give that one a try. Yo, everybody listening to this right now, drop your anthem hot takes in the comments below. Subscribe. Did you know only a certain percentage of our viewers are actually subscribed? Yeah.
Hmm.
What?
Reading a piece here. Apparently, a number like almost 100 UK warships have had their automatic identification system positions faked.
That seems like it's a war crime.
I don't know if it's a war crime on its own, but it's shady for sure.
Yeah. That's like some antitrust laws or whatever. I'm tired.
Because these are like these are military ships.
Yeah.
They're
Things with
supposed to be able to be
guns.
identified, and you just can't.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have? Canada has fined people for fake vaccination and testing papers.
That sounds very Canadian.
Fined. Oh, I heard about this. Fined two travelers arriving from the U.S. who had forged COVID-19 testing and vaccine documents. Each was fined $16,000, which is a shame. I don't know. I'd be very interested. I know they can't reveal who they are. I'd be curious to know who it is to know if they can afford that or not.
I doubt it.
I don't
Okay,
know.
well, fair enough. What if
If
it
this
was?
was someone going to like Mexico, I would be more inclined to believe that. The kinds of people who travel to Canada, presumably for like a vacation type of thing, tend to be on the wealthier side.
So what you're saying is I should go to Canada and I get more money.
What? No, that's
Oh,
not how that works.
no.
No. I mean, you
Wow.
probably would, like as a net kind of thing, but that's just because Canada has like a lot of stuff that gets paid through for their or paid for through their taxes
Honestly,
that we
I've
don't
thought
have
about
here.
getting like dual Canadian citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean,
I
like,
don't know how it works.
if you're in Michigan, why not?
I don't know if you can do that. Oh, apparently you can.
Damn straight.
I know for the U.S. side, it's really sketchy when it comes to dual citizenship
Why?
because the U.S. doesn't want you to be a citizen of another country. They want you to be an American citizen first.
Well, unfortunately, I was born here, so they have no choice but to take me.
Right.
I don't know. Have you ever thought about doing dual citizenship?
Yeah. I mean, I've considered it. I don't know where I would get dual citizenship at. Like, Canada is the logical place, but there's not a ton in Canada that interests me enough to go through the process.
I
Not
get,
to the point where I would just, like, get my passport sorted.
yeah.
I
Um,
like Canada. Would I want to live there?
I always thought it'd be funny to get one like in a really obscure country. Like, what about
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia and its citizenship?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's when you start to get into issues with whether or not they will allow it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I know what you mean.
Why not get a dual citizenship in Panama? Because America and Panama have great relations.
No problems. Might as well just get one in Cuba while you're at it.
Oh hell yeah, free cigars. I have thought about Sweden because, like, in Sweden, if you get your doctorate, they mail you a sword, which would be
Huh.
pretty badass.
Interesting.
Do we have any other news for today?
Not that I have. Let me double check real quick. Pretty sure that's all. We got some movie news though, for sure.
Oh shit. Yeah, because we didn't do last week then, did we?
We did not.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's get right into the news.
So there's one big release this week. I think there's a few last week. Checking these dates here. No, I know. I guess that one's technically this week. I don't recall if we went over Jungle Cruise or not.
We did. I do
We
remember that.
did.
Yeah.
Okay. The other two that I've been starting to see a lot about are Old, which is a Shyamalan movie.
Yes, I did hear about that. I have a weird story about
It,
old.
go for it.
So, sorry, I just got a really stupid meme sent to me. So I was on my way to work today, and while I was on this, I heard some guy talking about how he went to go see Old on the radio. Whatever, pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. You know, it's not like I used to do that or anything like that. And while he's talking about it, he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. The movie was pretty okay. I think I'll give it an okay score of 7, but that's me being pretty harsh. 7 is not an okay score.
Seven is like I don't know. People have such different way they review things. I
I
think
know.
part of it.
Well, your voice has been disconnected because you connected at another location. What? Oh my god. Okay, let this be a lesson to all of you at home. Don't use the Discord mobile app when you're recording your podcast. Okay, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Did you hear me
The
complaining
U.S.
on there?
education system has just like completely fucked everyone's perception of what like averages are.
I agree.
People think that anything less than like a seven is bad, when in reality, anything lower than a five is what should be the middle ground.
Yeah, like when I think of an okay movie, I would definitely say like four is the dividing range between an okay and a bad movie.
For me, it's probably five.
You think so?
A five is right in the middle. If I like, if it, I it would have to be above a five for me to want to have it be in like a recommend to go see kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like five is it's fine. Don't go out of your way to see it, but if it is on, don't worry about it. Anything above that is like see it under the right circumstances or through the right mood up until like actually just go out and see it kind of thing. And then
yeah.
less than that would be don't even bother.
I think I don't genuinely recommend a movie unless it hits a seven on my scale.
Mm, that's fair.
Yeah,
And for me, that would generally be the same way. I could see, like, I think there's a few movies that I've seen that in general I wouldn't recommend, but they have very specific qualities to them that under the right circumstances, they would be like a six. And it'd be like, yeah, generally speaking, don't see this movie unless you really want to go see blank.
that's how I feel about the Ant-Man movies.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
get that. That would be where I would put them. Generally, six or seven.
yeah.
They do some really cool stuff, but they don't really hold a candle to the rest of the MCU.
There's like a lot. Okay, if I'm gonna be very serious, in my film nerd perspective, I think the MCU is such a mixed bag of like movies independently, but it's all what they build up to, the tapestry that they weave, that makes it worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like the Thor trilogy, there's only like one of those that I would actually recommend watching. If I could find a way for you to skip Thor 1
Yep.
and 2, I would.
Yep. I'd be very curious to see because, like, at a certain point, Marvel is gonna have trouble getting people to like it's the One Piece problem, right?
Yeah,
You know,
too
if
long.
you're getting into like phase five or six, and you have people that don't understand what happened before it, how do you get them caught up to speed in a timely manner? Because they're gonna look and they're gonna see there's 50 movies ahead of this. I'm not even gonna fucking bother.
Yeah. Um it's really hard trying to rectify that.
Yeah.
I've always had this idea. Now, Kevin Feige, since you're a huge fan of the podcast, I'm offering this idea for you for free.
No
Just put my
cost.
name as a producer in one of the movies. I don't care which. Now that we're getting to the multiverse stuff, I always thought it'd be kind of cool if they wanted to do a soft reboot of the MCU within the MCU, like an alternate universe that's retelling some of these stories from a different what if perspective.
I feel like they're definitely getting to that point.
Like, say we want to recast Iron Man, but we want to do like that evil Iron Man storyline idea you and I came up with because we're fucking geniuses.
Mm.
Do it like with an alternate universe and then build up that cinematic universe in like parallel to like help new people get into it.
Yep. They this is the best opportunity they've had to do something like that. And it's probably not going to come around in as cleanly of a way as Loki has for a long time.
Oh yeah. No, Loki really did set up a lot of great stuff. Like it really
Yep.
helped give like a lot of momentum towards new stuff.
Mhm. It does. And it lends itself really well to that because you now have someone, Loki, from, our air quotes, our universe, in this alternate universe where you can basically do whatever the fuck you want and have it be explained to him as he is the viewer.
Yeah.
It sets itself up really naturally for exposition heavy things that let you shortcut that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
Speaking of which, I'm very much looking forward to What If.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I have no idea what it's actually about.
It's just an anthology series of like what if this happened.
It's just like animations, it
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just one-off stories.
Interesting.
What if comics are kind of my favorite thing in comics?
Hmm.
Um, so the idea that they're actually doing this on a larger scale as an animated show, I'd
Yep.
kill for this as a kid. One of my favorite storylines as a kid, just because how ridiculous it is like a what if uh, it's either Spider-Man or Venom becomes the Punisher. And the idea is that instead of like the usual like web slinging web shooters, they change it in for like bullet shooters. So he's doing the Spider-Man like um hand thing, but bullets keep coming out. It's kind of hilarious.
Interesting.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want comic book movies to get stupid. I mean, some would argue they're already stupid, but they're still not as stupid as my comics.
Hmm.
What other movies
So
do we have? Oh, sorry.
we've got a big one.
Yes.
We have the Suicide Squad coming out,
What?
and it sounds like it might be good.
Isn't this the one with James Gunn?
Yes.
I can
James
believe it.
Gunn, Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Viola Davis, Sylvester Stallone, Joel Kinnaman, Peter Capaldi, for the names
It's
I know.
automatically good in my eyes.
It's like, so this is. Let me pull up the original Suicide Squad for a comparison.
Well, we
What
supposed to
did
be some
it?
kind of Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad 2016 tomato meter 26%.
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad, they gave it the Fast and the Furious treatment. The Suicide Squad 2021, 99 reviews in, certified fresh 96%.
Beautiful. I mean, it's just about getting talent and letting them do their thing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really hope this goes a long way towards actually adding authorship towards these kind of movies.
I'm very curious to see the negative reviews.
It's worse than
So,
no.
we
The negative reviews say not enough Jared Leto Joker. Joker.
I mean, one kind of does.
No way.
So I'll get to that one. But we have James spiced the broth, but it's still thin and no substitute for a decent meal.
Go on.
This person says, not to be confused with the 2016 action caper Suicide Squad, James Gunn's noisy sequel aims for a similar style and tone, trashy and unpleasant. In this and this alone, it succeeds.
Nice.
Not a single, this is a top critic apparently, not a single gag lands and most of them offend. This might actually be worse than the first one. I think there should be one more negative review. Yeah.
Oh no.
The Guardians of the Galaxy style goofiness mixed in with lingerie shots of maimed lasagna like innards feels queasy and all wrong. It's like someone exposing themselves at a wedding.
I kind of want to see this now based off that review
I do
alone.
too. I think that this should be an HBO Max thing, so I can just like go and watch it when it becomes available.
Ooh, you're lucky.
I gotta find out though. It should be because it's DC.
Yeah, I think you
It'd be
should.
like that's one of those things that let me just look up the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad streaming. Where is it available? Ah, HBO Max. It says it's available 8/6.
Hmm.
Oh, I actually don't know if that's how that works. It says available on HBO Max for 31 days from its theatrical release. So I don't know if that means it's available after 31 days or if it's available for 31 days. That make if you get what I mean? Because I could read that either way.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think it means that it's available for 31 days from the theatrical release. So it's like, yes, you can watch it, but there's a limited window. So if you want to watch it soon, kind of thing. It's not going to be available forever,
Yeah,
there's going to be a gap.
I have no idea. I'm not blessed with
Yeah,
HBO
I'll
Max.
look into it next week. So August, actually, I might be able to watch it this week. August 5th, 7 p.m. That kind of pushes into my work week though. So see
Hmm.
how it goes. Might
Yeah.
catch it Sunday after I get off. Because by then it should definitely be available if it's going to be available.
Yeah. Ballin'.
But at what cost?
Arm fall off, boy.
Boy, apparently I haven't seen any more Nathan Fillion credits in it.
Oh no.
Nathan Fillion Suicide Squad. Did it happen? Oh, it's not released yet, so we don't know.
Oh well.
Oh no, he is TDK. He's apparently in some interview regarding it, but he's not credited on Rotten Tomatoes. So what the hell?
We gotta
Creating a
make
new DC character, so that would be not Arm Fall Off Boy.
we gotta make our own arm fall off boy movie. Now would he be arm fall off man in our movie?
It seems like it.
Good.
I do think that the James Gunn being on this has definitely done a good job of bringing some more levity to it, more goofiness that it really needs.
I mean, all these movies need goofiness. You can't run some superhero comics straight. It's
Mhm.
impossible.
Just look at DC.
Yeah, I mean, a millionaire, billionaire, bachelor, playboy running around as a fucking furry beating homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Or
this marks. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing actually comes about from this in the larger DC cinematic universe.
I feel like they're not
Um,
doing anything with it lately. They're just kind of just putting out movies.
yep. I hope that they look at this and go, wait a minute, we can make popular movies and then make more popular movies.
Yeah. I just want them to be good, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted a bad DC movie in my life. I just want a good Superman movie, honestly. All things considered, I am shocked that we can't get Superman right.
I I kind of get it though because he's just on his own. You can probably work around it, but as soon as you try to bring in any of the other ensemble stuff, he's just so immediately overpowered compared to everyone else that
Yeah,
it
but
becomes
then
kind of problematic.
Superman, you're being very problematic right now. That was supposed to be
Tone
Aquaman's
it
role.
down.
Yeah. Turn it down. Stop Superman splaining us.
What else do we have? The Green Knight. I've been hearing a ton about this on
So have
social media
I.
and only social media.
Haven't even seen a trailer for it. I didn't even know it even came out until someone talked about it.
I don't even know what this is. An epic fantasy adventure based on the timeless Arthurian legend. The Green Knight tells the story of Sir Gawain, played by Dev Patel, King Arthur's reckless and headstrong nephew who embarks on a daring quest to confront the eponymous Green Knight, a gigantic emerald-skinned stranger and tester of men. Gawain contends with ghosts, giants, thieves, and schemers in what becomes a deeper journey to define his character and prove his worth in the eyes of his family and kingdom by facing the ultimate challenger.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not immediately catching. The thing that I keep seeing on social media is people that are kind of like pricks or acting like pricks for no better way of putting it, talking about how because of its rating on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 90% reviewer rating and a 52% audience rating, that oh, it's immediately the sign of a good movie because the masses, the nameless masses are just dumb or have bad taste kind of takes. And it's just like, okay, I get where you're coming from. Tone it down a bit. you're being a dick.
Yeah, I
But that's been the bulk of what I've seen is pictures of the disparity in the scores and being like, oh, that's how you know it's good.
I feel like so many people like I'm speaking as someone who very much loves the arts, but a
Hmm.
lot of people like to assert that like some kind of degree of expertise and knowledge in an art to say that they're cultured in it as a form of self value,
Yep.
which is pretty dumb. I mean, I know I'm pretty godly for all the David Bowie I listen to, but I will never brag to your face, Kyril, that you listen to shit music and not our glorious David Bowie because that's just not who I am.
Yeah, you only do that kind of thing behind your friend's back.
Yeah, fuck EDM, right? I apologize. Actually, I've been listening to a decent amount of EDM.
I mean, it is. That's one of those things that it's like completely justified
Yeah,
because like fuck EDM, but there's some good stuff as
yeah.
well. But you have to wade through a lot. It's one of those things that unlike traditional music, you don't need an instrument to start making it. You just need a computer,
Well, the
and not even a
computer's the
good
instrument.
computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but you don't even need like a good computer. I know there's plenty of really prominent artists today that got their starts on like $300 MacBooks because that's all they could afford back when they were in high school or college. And that's how they started making music. At the same time, when the barrier to entry for making complete tracks with professional sounds to them is $300, you get a lot of chaff.
Oh yeah. Well, it's that way with lo-fi hip hop beats you can relax and study to. Used to
Right,
be
exactly.
that stuff was amazing, but now that it's
Mm-hmm.
become so popular and so easy to make, it's
Yep.
watered down entirely.
Yep.
But back to the main point, just because you like something obscure doesn't mean anything but you like something obscure. Doesn't mean
Yes.
you have well cultured taste or anything like that. The only thing that means is you should listen to some David Bowie because only cultured people like David Bowie.
Now, for what it's worth, the Green Knight does seem like it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, I want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually a fan of the poem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember reading it in high school. I thought it was
Yep.
a okay.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have?
That's about. I think that's about it.
Oh shit.
Let me double check. There's still not a ton. We're gonna be getting more in the next couple of months, particularly once we get into fall. There is a lot of the delayed releases that are going to start to come out. Um,
Speaking about fall and potentially delayed, there was that Venom trailer that came out today.
oh, is there?
Yeah,
Totally didn't even notice. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
it looks good. I think it. You know, I can say a few things.
8 hours. Venom, let there be carnage. Say things while I watch it.
Things while I watch it.
Perfect.
You're welcome.
Now talk about the new Venom trailer.
Oh, so, uh, for those of you who don't know, actually, let me see if I can get it out without disrupting my microphone. But I am a Venom fan, mainly because I'm a Spider Man fan, and believe it or not, those two things intersect a lot. I was going to start hitting my microphone with my copy of Venom 200 by Donny Cates because I just want to say the Donny Cates Venom run, very good. Stop complaining about it, people online, because you thought it was edgy. It's a horror story. Get over it. And what I like about this Venom trailer is I too think it can go very well into the rounds of horror. Horror is something I believe superhero stories are all connected to on a very intrinsic level. Spider Man, bitten by a radioactive spider. The Hulk, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde with a little bit of Frankenstein. Doctor Strange, very much into horror. So, I've been wanting a superhero horror movie for a while. So when I see things like the Venom trailer and its portrayal of monsters just blowing shit up, I want to believe that can lead to horror, especially with the character of Carnage, because Carnage is going to be in this movie. If you can't tell from the title, Let There Be Carnage. A serial killer monster just writes itself. And when I see the potential of this movie, I'm happy on the inside, which is saying a lot because I suffer from severe depression, meaning my life is a horror story, meaning Venom and I are basically the same thing. And if I have to keep trying to improvise these stupid but insightful lines, I think I'm going to blow my head off. But let's go talking more about what I liked about this trailer. Woody Harrelson is in this. Woody Harrelson is a man who is under the profession of actor. An actor is someone who pretends to be someone else for an extended period of time to put on performance. Now, I like acting. I myself am not much of an actor, but when I see Woody Harrelson and I know his signature blend of creepy and off putting, I think that's a guy that can do a horror movie. And I would like to believe that this movie has potential to be a horror movie. But the thing is, they keep putting these goddamn jokes in there, which, while I think are funny and generally kind of amusing, throws me off about the general vibe of horror that I'm kind of wanting from this product.
So I'll say,
Yo,
now that I'm back, I was actually going to bring up the same thing.
yeah,
The jokes have a place, but the timing on them feels
forced,
misplaced.
forced, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like the joke in the trailer where Venom sees Carnage. He's like, "Oh shit, a red one."
Right.
Yeah, that's
Like that it can be good,
yeah.
but like
The
I don't know.
context in the trailer is that he's seeing it for the first
Yes.
time,
Yes.
which
You don't want to have those jokes interrupt the flow of the story that you're telling. And from what it looks like in the trailers, while they're good jokes, it seems like they're kind of sudden and out of nowhere and made for the sake of being a joke.
yeah, it kind of makes me feel like, don't worry, guys, it's not going to take itself too seriously.
Yeah, like we need a joke quota, and it's been 5 minutes since we've had a joke, so shove one in here.
Venom, say something funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the CGI work that they're doing in here, though.
Oh,
For
dude,
the Carnage stuff they're showing, it looks really good.
the Carnage stuff is iconic to me.
Yeah.
Um, so proud of how they did that character. That someone
Mm-hmm.
actually has a close-up photo of the Carnage's face from the CGI. Look at that.
Oh yeah, looks really good.
That is some impressive CGI. I hope this movie at least wins some kind of award for its CGI
Mm-hmm.
because it's very clear to me they're taking care. Um,
I hope it's I would say nominated. I don't know when because there's
okay,
going to be some steep competition, and the way that they're doing their CGI seems a bit limited,
yeah.
but it's still it's very good. It seems top of class for sure.
Um, back to what I was saying though, I would love to see this movie go into the realm of horror more,
Yeah.
especially since
Yeah.
it's literally about a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very scared that this humor is going to throw the movie off a lot.
Yep. Because I definitely I really get those kinds of vibes from every scene that has Carnage in it,
Yeah.
and then they show Venom and it kind of kills it because they have to have Venom make a joke to balance it out. It feels like.
Well, I feel like they're trying to make Venom so likable because you literally have the other monster in this movie not be likable and kind of scary that it's kind of hard to like. My appeal to Carnage in Venom in the comics is it's bad meets worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get that from this. I see just more like this guy who is just kind of fumbling around and then he sees like the big scary monster. He's like, oh shit, a red one. I have very high hopes for this movie. I really think these trailers are just poorly cut, but I'm also just terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do like the little gag at the end where they say Eddie and Venom need couples counseling.
Yeah.
Just please don't bring on the my Costa relationship thing that they did in the comics. Any other observations you would like to make on that trailer?
Not for Venom.
Yeah, fair
Nope.
enough.
I mean, it doesn't. It adds a little bit for like how Carnage is Carnage, but it's not plot wise. At least it's not showing a ton more.
No, what I'm scared about this movie is that it's not going to be very original plot wise,
Mm-hmm.
which might work for a horror movie, but it's like I don't want to see like a bare bones movie.
Yep. It does a good job of dissuading some of the animation concerns that I had from the earlier trailers, but yeah,
I
I don't know.
think,
The story's gonna have to be its own thing.
yeah, I think animation wise, it's a big improvement from the trailer beforehand,
Yep.
and it
Yep.
makes me really hope for the final product will be better than this. Because like this, I think is acceptable. We're finally at
Oh yeah,
acceptable. Now I would like to see some
for sure.
polish.
Yep. The thing for me is that I don't see, given the setting, I don't think it's going to have any moments that are going to be especially impressive in the same ways that the Marvel stuff can have these massive fictional landscapes that they can do whatever they want with.
Oh yeah,
You know,
no,
you're still, for the most part, stuck in like New York or wherever it is.
I think
There's
it's,
only so much you can do.
yeah, San Francisco.
San
Um,
Francisco, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this render of Carnage that we're looking at is the majority of the film's budget went to Carnage and Venom.
Yeah. And I think if that's what they do, if they do it right, then I don't think that that'll be a problem. It's just whether or not they can do it right.
Can they?
I
Question
would like
mark.
to think that they have the capability to. They just, I don't think, have really shown it yet.
Yeah. Story wise, I kind of feel bad for Eddie Brock, who's supposed to be our main character, because he's just
Yep.
there to be Venom's ride.
Yep.
Like they do a little thing like, "Oh, my ex-girlfriend's getting married and I feel sad." But then Venom just inserts himself into that plot line too. He's like, "Hey, we're going to get her back." I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I have some non-movie news.
Ooh, go on.
We got an official gameplay trailer for Annapurna's next game, Stray.
Stray.
Mm-hmm.
What's
It
that?
is a video game. Play as a stray cat. And I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be heavily story driven,
You have
but
my interest.
the cat can wear a backpack.
10 out of 10.
So
Can
let
you
me
put a
send
smaller
you a
cat in the backpack?
screenshot here. I don't know. I'll send you a screenshot here of
Can you hear that noise in my background?
which noise would that be?
Like someone singing?
No, there's like a strumming almost, but not singing.
Oh, thank God. So, I'm going to derail a little slightly to explain that noise. We have a people infestation in my house.
Tragic.
Yeah, my uncle and his side moved in. We're housing them while they renovate their house. That is a beautiful screenshot that you just sent me of
Yeah,
Stray.
I that's apparently gameplay footage.
No way.
Yeah, so there's like minimal hood. I don't think it's gonna look this good on consoles if it ever even comes. Yeah, because it's a PlayStation thing, PlayStation and PC. So on PC, it could absolutely look this good, but because it has this very strong forced perspective of being so low, because it's a perspective of a cat.
Yeah,
They're able to, I'm sure, do a lot of like cheating basically is the way to put it with the lighting so that they can have these effects that look really good, but because you're sort of locked into this very specific perspective, they can cheat on how they recreate that lighting.
that's good.
But it looks excellent. Let me see if I can find, because they got to show. Yeah, there we go. Here, this actually is probably going to be closer to what it'll actually look like too, but this is a good picture of the cat with the backpack. The idea, though, I mean, I don't really know a ton about it, but like broad strokes is that this is supposed to be in like some sort of like futurish setting. So you have like these robots that are flitting all around, and there's apparently like a lack of people.
I like that robot human design.
Yeah, it works. It's good.
Yeah.
Apparently, we have a date for it. I'm trying to skim through here to look for it. Early 2022, so technically a date. Available on the PlayStation Store and Steam. I don't know. I like it.
I,
It looks different,
I
and you don't see that a lot in games. There's like even The Last of Us 2, while it looked technically very impressive, it didn't look particularly original, and this looks very original.
I'm not gonna lie. It needs more of a scruffy white person with a gun to get my attention.
If there's not a rugged white man with a gun on the cover, I don't want it.
As a
How else can I
male,
relate to it?
how am I, as a 20 something adult, supposed to relate to a game that doesn't have a scruffy white guy on it with a gun?
I always find it hilarious looking back because it's been done to death with that trope in the late 2000s, early 2010s. How every video game cover looks exactly the same. White dude with a gun with his back to you.
Yeah,
Because what was it, Modern Warfare did it first, and whatever Modern Warfare did, everyone copied. Something like that. I always find it
unfortunately.
particularly, yeah, I always find it particularly hilarious how they did it with Bioshock because it's a first person shooter where you basically never see your character, and the whole point of the game is Elizabeth, and she's not on the cover.
Have you ever seen like the original concept art for the cover?
I think so.
Yeah, the concept art is beautiful. It's like Elizabeth with the bird, the electric and the robot bird that keeps her in the tower.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always thought that was a really powerful
Oh, this
image. But
this is
no,
really good.
yeah, do
I'll
you
send
see
you
it?
this one. This is a different one. I hadn't seen this one before. This is really good.
Oh, oh, that's good too.
It really captures the setting as well. But
Yeah,
I know the one you're talking about. That's the one that I'm also thinking of. And like literally anything would have been better than a picture of apparently Booker. We don't know.
it's just a scruffy white guy with
We'll
a
take your
gun.
word for it.
Yeah. Uh, I don't get marketing companies. Like, I get it. They're probably boomers who don't know how to sell a video game, so they follow the work of other people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, how do you? I wonder what it's like working in those fields where you have to sacrifice art in the pursuit of profit.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be tough. But at the same time, I there's been some not super recent. I can appreciate the perspective more having seen interviews with people that are put in those positions. There's been quite a few with the game designers for Magic the Gathering that I've seen where you can very clearly tell they are doing what they can to balance that as best as they can while not compromising their artistic vision but still meeting deadlines and things like that.
Ballin'.
And it is interesting. It's a very tight rope to walk, and there ends up being more compromises on one side than the other, but what can you do?
You can put a scruffy white guy with a gun on the cover. That's what you can do.
Yep.
We
It
probably,
sells
yeah.
statistically.
When do you think the last time that trope was used?
White guy with a gun on the cover.
Yeah.
I'm gonna curious if there's a list for it. Video game covers with a white guy with the gun. People have made some collections of them.
Nice.
It's definitely centered more in the PS3 360 era.
Oh my gosh, why did that come up? Um, so I tried looking up the same thing,
Yep.
and for whatever reason, I ended up getting totally different results, probably because I didn't type in the same exact thing. And it's just like
Mm.
white women just cradling guns as if they were babies.
Yeah, you looked up something different than I did.
Yeah. And there's a lot of these.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I don't understand gun culture. Like, I understand the importance of a gun, but some people are too
Yeah.
attached.
No, people definitely are.
One would.
It's no different than any sort of subculture type stuff. There's always weird people.
Very true.
People that go too far with it. Yep. This is a list on Giant Bomb of like 100 games with uh, white guys with guns on their covers. Almost all of them are older,
Oh,
and some of them are stretches, but I haven't seen any particularly new ones yet. Oh, got the diversity card here with Lara Croft.
hell yeah. Diversify that shit.
Haze.
Representation
I
matters.
Do you remember this game, Haze?
Yes, I do.
I only ever remember its cover. Nothing about the game itself,
It's.
just the cover, because
It,
it's a very good cover.
I was about to say, the only reason I remember is because I remember the cover.
Yeah. Great piece of art, very striking. Couldn't tell you a thing about the game.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you there's a white guy with a gun in the game.
Yep. What do we have? There's really not a ton here. This is all almost exclusively, like, even more so than uh, PS3 and 360 era. There's a lot of these that go back to the Dreamcast era, GameCube, PlayStation 1, where it's like serialized things. You know, you have all of the James Bond tie-in games, all of the Rainbow Six games, like the original ones. And of course, they all have guys with guns on their covers because that's like the point of the game, you know?
I
That is
also
Bond's identity.
I found a new cliche as well.
Oh yeah.
Opposite forces staring at each other.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the cliche for this generation of video game is?
Let me see. I'm curious. I'm just gonna look up video games. What comes up if I just Google video games?
Probably a Mario.
Tons of stuff. Most of these are relatively new. All right, Amazon, put your best foot forward. What do you have for video games? Oh my god. So if you Google the top rated video games,
Mm-hmm.
that's very interesting. Top rated are all gift cards.
That's kind of Orwellian.
I'm not too surprised by it, given how strong of a push there is for digital first things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess, PlayStation really dominated the last console generation, so this shouldn't surprise me as much as it does. But in order, the top three rated. Oh, okay. So this is interesting. I actually don't know how that works then. It must break them down in order here. The ratings numbers is a combined for all of the different values, but top three are $20, $25, and $50 PlayStation Store gift cards.
Woof.
Then, after that, before Xbox, $25 Roblox gift card.
How
Before any Xbox.
the mighty have fallen. I don't under. Okay, I was about to sound like a boomer there, but like I'm so weirded out that I missed out on Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you ever feel that? Because like it's obviously a big thing, and we were just a little too old to get into that.
No, I am glad I didn't.
Really,
It looks so trashy and like such a scam.
Okay, I guess I'm just showing more of my boomer by not knowing what's going on
I don't.
fully with Roblox.
It's like God. I don't even know because it's all Flash games, right? It's online,
Yeah,
so it's very much the equivalent of like pick a Flash game website that we would have had
cool
where it's
math
just
games
aggregate
14.
stuff. Yeah, I mean like, but actually, it's like that, but there's microtransactions.
Yeah,
And it's being advertised to children. So the people who are making the content for it, who have the potential to get paid for it, know that and are making these things with that in mind. Because you can't not. If you're going to have people pay you to play your game or whatever, you're going to design it in a way, even subconsciously, that's going to influence how you make that game. Whereas before, that wasn't a thing. At most you're getting like click through revenue and ad revenue in the sidebars of the websites. But I would be very shocked if many of the people who are making video games, back in the good old days for free Flash games type stuff, even got a dime because there was so much of it that was just like open platforms make and share your stuff.
yeah,
So it's shifted towards that. And just having that be an inherent aspect of it is a downside for me.
fair enough.
Yeah.
But Minecraft's still chill, right?
Yeah, Minecraft is fine. Minecraft has kind of done like a 720 at this point. It's been back and forth so many times because it was kind of cool at first just because it was indie.
Yeah,
And then it got kind of shitty again because there was this huge influx in popularity for it. And then it's kind of mellowed out a bit since then, where it's not really one or the other. There's a bit of both. I think some of the speed running side of it on like the popular, not like the actual competitive speedrunning, but the Twitch drama that comes around with it, with the dream bullshit in particular, is very indicative of the more childish side of it that it used to have. But at the same time, it's become so much more than it was at first that it's always going to be a pretty major facet of gaming in a serious sense, in the same way that something like StarCraft or League of Legends or CS:GO will be, just because it's gotten to the point where it's so big that it can't ever possibly fail.
I will
It is the
say.
Bernie May of video games.
Oh God. I will say, I do feel weirded out that I remember getting into Minecraft when it was an indie title.
Mm-hmm.
And when you reminded me, it was an indie title at one
Oh yeah,
point.
no, it 100% was.
Yeah. I can't get over that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so different now.
You can't. I remember before they even had the Ender Dragon in
Curious.
there.
I'm gonna go on Twitch. I'm curious to see what it is at. Sort by view high low. Where does it pop up? Oh, it's just outside. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. It is the 10th most watched game currently on Twitch.
Of Twitch.
65,000 people just watching it
Yeah.
for no particular reason.
Well, I'd argue Minecraft is a game that benefits from people watching it. Because it's
Oh,
such.
absolutely. It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. It's a game where you can very clearly express yourself, and it's interesting
Mm-hmm.
to see how every individual person plays Minecraft differently.
Yep. And at its core, Minecraft itself is not an especially complex game. It's very
No.
easy to pick up and do, and gameplay of it can get really repetitive. So having somebody who's streaming it that is a very strong personality that knows how to run a stream can show itself way more in Minecraft than it can in other games.
Yes.
I'm curious. I'm gonna go on Amazon. I want to see. Where is it? Oh, okay. Games. I just want to see like top like actual games, not accessories or like console, like actual games. It doesn't really helpful. Amazon, your website sucks.
You were saying? What else is new?
Yeah, right. Vulture.com best video games of 2021 so far. Let's see if they have covers here. Nope, they don't.
Darn.
PC Mag coming in clutch. Maybe.
What
Nope.
would you say
What?
is the game of the year for 2021 so far?
God, what even has come out? I should probably look at one of these lists because I don't even remember what all's come out.
Because, I mean, based off COVID last year, I say Animal Crossing was 2020.
Um, so far, I think Ratchet and Clank has the best potential of games that have like actually released because it is visually for a console. It's like the closest equivalent we have to The Last of Us,
Yeah.
where the visuals of it, even though it's not perfect and it has flaws, the visuals of it are so far ahead of what it's competing against that it's able to ride on that alone to a large extent, even if other aspects of the game aren't particularly innovative or good.
Okay.
That's a huge benefit that it has right off the bat. I'm skimming through other video games that we have. Most everything else either hasn't come out yet or has been too small. I legitimately think a game like Stray, a more of an indie type game that is able to bring a really unique experience in a really accessible way, would have huge potential
Oh, shit.
because there's just not really been something like that yet.
Hey, I got a bit of an update on something I forgot about years ago, but I just kind of Googled to see if I what's going on with that.
Yeah,
Do you remember how there was a Minecraft movie being planned?
vaguely.
Well, there's a release date for the
Oh
Minecraft
no.
movie that is just around the corner.
Is it really? Is it just
Yes.
Minecraft the movie?
Yes. March
March
4th,
4th?
2022.
I hope. I doubt this is gonna happen. If they're gonna do this, I hope they do it all in Minecraft.
A machinima
That's the
movie?
like no, but I mean seriously, that is the big thing, or at least animate it so it looks like it's in Minecraft. That is the thing that makes the Lego movies so wildly successful is that it is all Lego. It doesn't matter what your story is. You're doing something creative with the format that you're using, and that alone is going to draw people in. It's the reason why a lot like what was it? The did you do you watch I hate
I hate everything?
YouTube guy? Yes. The
Not in a
YouTuber.
long time.
He did one recently about the Bobbleheads movie because of course there's a Bobbleheads movie. It's
Yes.
2021 and it is just so boring with how it works with its source material that it's just boring. It's just so bad that it's bad at that point, you know?
Yeah.
Where oh they're bobbleheads, so how many jokes can we have about them being bobbled? But it's dumb. It's incredibly immature to the point where it's completely like you don't acknowledge the sight gag, right? That's the thing with the Lego movies is that it incorporates the gag of it being Legos into so many aspects that it's not even really considered at that point. It just is Lego because that's the universe.
I've got bad news for you, Kyril.
What's that?
The Lego, I'm sorry, the Minecraft movie has been
Yeah.
delayed already.
Damn. I was
Yeah.
looking forward to it so much.
Because it's supposed to be coming out the same weekend as the Batman.
Okay, yeah, that's a good reason to delay it. Somebody probably was just like, all right, we got to pick a date for the movie. We got to put something out for the press release. We're going to be done about February. No, we'll be done about January. So we want to give a bit of a lead time to make sure everybody comes up. First Friday in March, March 4th. We'll ship it then. And then somebody comes back the next day. It's just like, I saw you have the movie released for March 4th. You know, the Batman's coming out on that day. And then it just went full panic mode.
Just fade into the, like, zoom in on the face.
Yes.
Sweat drops, like, immediately.
Other 2021 video games that haven't come out yet, though.
Yes.
Let me actually double check because I don't think this is out. This isn't helpful. Release date. I might be completely wrong on this. I'm pretty sure this isn't out yet because it only ever has a release date of 2021 anywhere. Halo Infinite.
Oh yeah, the
There's been a
beta's like
lot
going
of
on.
hype. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about it. And I know people are excited about it because it seems like, at least on the multiplayer side, it's recapturing some of the things that made the old Halo games really special.
Yeah.
If 343 can deliver a solid original story in the Halo franchise that isn't, condescending or belittling to its longtime fans, I think they could very easily walk away with at least Game of the Year nominations.
It's Halo. Yeah, of course they
Yeah, I
can.
mean it's Halo. I mean you'd have to fuck it up pretty hard, but they've done it in the past. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Other games we have Far Cry 6 is it's Far Cry. Pretty much all of the Far Cry games have been some kind of good lately, to varying degrees, but on the whole. But they have shaky launches, and it's Ubisoft, so they'll find a way to fuck up anything. Deathloop. I think I don't know. I'm really excited for Deathloop. It is Arcane Bethesda. Uh, it is such a unique concept, and the idea of having like 1v1 PvP games that can be upwards of like an hour or two long and build up to such a crescendo as this could be over the course of a period of time where it's legitimately one person versus one other person interacting with the environment to gain the upper hand while they complete different objectives is really unique. But I I don't know. I love the tone of it. I love the ideas of it. I want to see more solid gameplay of it though, because the gameplay that's been shown looks incredibly staged, if that makes sense.
I mean, with a game like that, you kind of have to get stage the gameplay.
That's the thing that I think though. If it actually plays as good as it looks like it plays, you should be able to take your devs and put them in the game, in the live version of the game, and just have them play it and be able to get really cool moments that you can put into a trailer.
Very true.
And I haven't seen that yet, so that gives me pause.
Yeah, you
Um,
have every right to.
you know, Apparently we're getting a Psychonaut sequel,
Yeah, that's a
which
thing.
I didn't play the first Psychonauts, but I know there's a lot of people, excuse me, that are really excited about it. Um, so the only E3 piece that I actually sat down and watched live was Ubisoft's conference.
Okay.
And surprisingly, one of the things that I'm saying, this is not something that I'm particularly interested in, but I've seen a lot of chatter about, just sort of like as a quiet thing, is the game Riders Republic. So the Rider games have always typically been based like physics-based BMX type games, where you go through in a 2D environment, the sort of like almost like a puzzle physics game, but on a BMX bike to go get through the environment and make it to the finish line. This takes it to like a completely other level with things like what was the big one? Snowboarding and like some sort of like squirrel suit, flying squirrel suit kind of activities. You know what I mean?
No, I do not, but go on.
Anyways, it doesn't look at all like anything I'd be interested in, but I've seen a lot of people talk very positively on it. So it seems like it's resonating with a lot of people.
Hmm.
What else? That's not a full release. I'm skimming through Google right now because it's surprisingly the best way to do this. Not a ton of. There's a lot of stuff in 2022. Pokemon Snap, eh. It's good. Is it Game of the Year good? I don't think so.
I wouldn't say so. I'm excited for the DLC. I think the DLC
Mm-hmm.
drops tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, it's very cool, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's like Game of the Year worthy. Although, from what we've seen so far this year, if the competition is just Ratchet and Clank, it has a chance. It'll be dependent on what comes out later in the year, around the holidays.
Yeah.
Biomutant, that was a big disappointment. Very cool setting, very disappointing actual gameplay, which is like, the point of the game.
What is your game of 2021 for you personally? Is it still Rainbow Six?
It's what I've probably not. It'll Whether or not Rainbow Six becomes my game of the year would depend on what the developers do over the next 6 months. There was a really, really good AMA that they did last week where it was the actual developers communicating with the actual players and answering genuine questions about the state of the game that people have been concerned with, like things like cheating and the state of content and how it's really slowed down lately. And they've done a really good job of at least holding off concerns that people have had, but it's also setting the bar higher for later in the year. They're going to have to start to deliver on some of these. They haven't made promises, but what they're talking about is giving clear hints at what we should look forward to for the rest of the year. And if they don't deliver on that, then it's just not going to be good.
Yeah.
From what I have actually played so far, the game that I have been the most impressed with in 2021 has been Metro Exodus.
Really?
They came out with their PC specific remastered version, and it has a ton of problems that should have been fixed years ago when the game launched. It is 2021. It's not fucking PlayStation 1 era anymore. You can patch your games. There is legitimately, I came across this by chance in Metro Exodus. There's a sequence in the second area that you end, or third area you end up in, where you're supposed to go to these rocks, and there's a prompt where you press a button and you skinny through the rocks. And if you don't hit that prompt, the character that you're following in this segment doesn't say the next lines of dialogue that he needs to, after which he goes to the next area and does an action that pulls down a ladder. So if you don't do that, he doesn't go there, he doesn't pull the ladder down, and you have soft locked your game. And the bullshit of this thing is the section where you have to skinny between these rocks. You don't have to skinny between the rocks. There's a full walkway on the left side that you can just walk around it and skip a button prompt. And I did that, and it soft locked my game.
Oof.
I had to go back, and thankfully, Cloud Save is a thing now. Cloud Save has saved Deep Silver's ass on, or sorry, not Deep Silver. Whoever the fuck makes Metro, I don't give a shit. It saved their ass because I only had to replay 2 hours of the game instead of the whole fucking thing.
I can sense your frustration.
It was so frustrating, but it's still a really fucking good game. And the PC version looks so much better now that they've optimized the graphics.
Hmm.
So that would probably be my spot because it is a really really good game. It plays really well. There's just dumb technical things. It's like in For the Dark World when I see a camera's out of focus. It doesn't matter how good your CG is when you're not hitting the basics here. If you literally have this easy of a way to soft lock your game just by progressing normally, you shouldn't. We should be past that at this point. But it's a really good game. That said, I'm hoping stuff that comes out later in the game will easily surpass it. Far Cry 6 and Deathloop should be better. I think the setting of Far Cry 6 in particular is one of the most. They started this with Far Cry 5, where they went to sort of like the American Midwest with this religious cult setting that they had, where and they've always sort of done this, but it's made it hit much closer to home for a lot of people. You're not in a deserted island somewhere with some, crazy dude. You're not in a Middle Eastern country dealing with the problems that they have there. You were in a place that was very familiar to people. This one, being in a Central American country, for American audiences, is much more personally relatable because this is the kind of stuff that we've seen on the news for the last 40 or 50 years. We've seen it in news clips from all of the strife that's been happening down there. So it has a lot of potential to hit those same very relatable elements, but at the same time, it's Ubisoft. Give them an inch and they'll take it and break it some way.
Would you like to hear my game of the year so far?
What's your game of the year?
Oh, I don't know, man. It's probably a toss up between Final Fantasy IX and Dragon Quest XI.
Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah.
Really?
I played it for the first time, the remaster on Switch, and
Yeah.
it is one of the few games to ever make me cry.
Interesting.
The ending of that game is something very powerful
Hmm.
emotionally. It's a really well told story, and I
Hmm.
teared up a little.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's definitely good reason why the Final Fantasy games are as well regarded as they are.
Yeah. Dude,
Hmm.
I'm on an RPG kick right now because of Final Fantasy 9. It made me want to go play a
Hmm.
whole bunch of them. So I played 6 cuz I have a copy of 6.
Yep.
I replayed 7, and then I got back into Dragon Quest with Dragon Quest 11 fairly
Hmm.
recently.
Yep. So for me personally, there's a lot of game series that I don't play
Yeah.
that I still have opinions on because just being on the internet, it's impossible to not pick up on elements of the culture around them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of games that I see that are really popular that I just don't get. You know,
Okay.
um, the shit. I completely forgot it now. I'm blanking. Not Final Fantasy. The
Dragon Quest?
Keyblade bullshit.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts. I don't get it at all. I don't get why people like Disney shit that much. And I just never will. I've just gotten to the point where I have to accept that it's just not for me. I'm never going to understand why people want Goofy and Donald fucking Duck in their serious RPG game. I don't get it. And I just never will. And I'm fine with that. But I
Okay.
don't get why it's so popular.
Can I
Final
confess?
Fantasy,
Yeah.
I get. It is, I haven't played a single game, but I get why it is good as it is, and it like just shows in the quality of the stuff that surrounds it.
You got to get into Final Fantasy. Knowing you, I can see
Mm-hmm.
getting into Final Fantasy would be a little hard for you, but I think you would appreciate what Final Fantasy sets out to do. Um that being said, I was once a Kingdom Hearts nerd, hardcore in my like early teens.
I just don't get it.
Dude,
I don't get the appeal.
I get the appeal and I just have to say it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like the first game, I will say is a legitimately good game.
Mm-hmm.
The main numbered ones, 1 and 2, I legitimately have nostalgia for.
Mm-hmm.
But then it jumps the fucking shark.
It's so much.
What are you
Does
talking?
Donkey still? Donkey has a video on it
Yeah,
of the like what happens in Kingdom or in Kingdom Hearts.
like the actual plot.
Yes, he has a Kingdom Hearts explained video. It's 4 minutes long, and it's one of those things where he, of course, does comedy stuff in it, but it's apparently mostly accurate. And it is, I just don't get it. There's so many games. There's so many games.
Dude, there are games in the series just to recap events from previous games,
Yeah,
like clip
it's
shows.
wild.
Yeah, I will say this: Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy is better than the Kingdom Hearts series. Shots fucking fired.
Mm,
Except for maybe 2. Final Fantasy 2 is weird.
yeah. What about? Let me see if I got thrown in here. Yeah, Final Fantasy 13.
Okay, fuck that game. You know that's hit.
That is the only one that I've played.
Okay,
I didn't even finish it. I got like 2 hours into it, and I got stuck on something. I just gave up because I was like a teenager still. What was it? 2009. So I was literally 14 years old at that point.
you
I
stood
just
no
gave up.
chance.
It was not worth my time.
Okay, I will say this. Okay, my definitive stance, right?
Yep.
The first 10 Final Fantasies,
Yep.
utmost highest quality of games I've seen.
Hmm.
2, kind of weird. 6, I hear a lot of mixed things. I need to go play 6 before I make an opinion on it.
Yep.
The rest I will stand by. As soon
Yep.
as you get past, well, 11 was an MMO, 12 was a weird game, but I heard mainly good things about it.
Hmm.
13 was a mistake.
Yeah.
And they kept making
I feel like
sequels
it's
to 13 to try and get it right.
So isn't 14 an MMO now too?
Yeah, and 14 is apparently like the
Primarily.
best MMO of all time.
Yeah, I've heard so much good stuff. Well, what was it? It's an online game that they had to stop selling copies for because it got so popular.
Yeah, they ran out of digital serial numbers.
Yeah, that is. Did you hear why?
Why?
So, oh god, let me make sure I get this right. The top World of Warcraft player, streamer, top World of Warcraft streamer, stopped playing World of Warcraft and started playing Final Fantasy 14.
Ouch.
And like literally in hours, the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people that follow him also made that switch.
I'm not gonna lie, I
So
do want
that's
to
why
play
they disappeared.
14.
It looks solid. I
Yeah.
know, and the big thing that it has that's always stopped me from getting into something like World of Warcraft is that it looks like the single player experience looks much more enjoyable,
Mm.
and there's more to it. And it's a problem that Destiny fell into a lot too. Is that a lot of the stuff in Destiny One was accessible in some degree as a solo player. And they started to have more and more of it that became less accessible over time that required you to be in a fire team to access that end game content. That really put me off because I had my group of people that played the game, but that group got smaller and smaller and smaller. And at a certain point, we couldn't get enough people together to play the stuff that we wanted to. And then you have to resort to playing with random people, and that always sucks.
Yeah. Did you hear that Activision Blizzard won't even let the name Final Fantasy come out of employees' mouths without firing?
I don't doubt it. God, we didn't even talk about that yet.
Oh, the frat boys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what a great segue.
Cosby Sweet. Oh my god. I almost don't. We should talk about it because it's important, but
Yeah.
it's so gross.
Um, Everybody has value, and no matter what your
Yep.
office is, don't make a culture of fucking dicks.
Yep. It is just horrendous what has been allowed to transpire at Activision Blizzard as long as it has.
Yeah. In
Like when
some
you
way,
have such a toxic workplace that the state of California sues you, you have problems.
I mean, just in some way, Final Fantasy is the karmatic retribution for all they've done.
Hmm. Yep.
Which is why I'm saying you should play Final Fantasy Carol because God approves.
Yeah.
God literally smited Activision
I've
Blizzard for you.
I've heard good things about 15 too. 15 as well.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about 15.
It's the road trip one. It's literally all I know. It's
That's all
apparently a
I
really
know
long
as
car
well.
segment. But it
Yeah.
looks kind of cool. I love how it's like the antithesis to like Halo Reach's Survive segment, where it's this where you can't avoid the inevitable outcome, but it's not predetermined where exactly that outcome happens, you know?
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I just love that idea where it's just like fighting to preserve the sake of everything versus your car runs out of gas and you have to push it. Because I've seen so many people put videos of Final Fantasy 15 and all of them have a bit of them pushing the car in it and it's never in the same spot. It never is. I don't know if that's just like the video editing doing its thing. Maybe this is something that's more scripted than I think it is, but having never played it and only seeing that, I always find it hilarious how they all have that same little bit and it's never quite the same.
That is pretty good.
I will say for Final Fantasy 13 though, the whole reason that I picked it up at all was because like I would have to I almost want to go back and play it now that I'm like an adult and have an attention span just to appreciate what it actually is because I didn't stop playing it because I didn't enjoy it. I stopped playing it because I came up to a part where there was like a skill spike that I literally couldn't get over and it was frustrating enough that I just gave up.
Oof.
But up until that point, I didn't hate the story that was being told, probably because I didn't understand most of it. But like, as is the case with almost all the Final Fantasy games, the character design is really strong and really good. And
Yeah.
that's what drew me into it. Is that I saw ads for it in like Game Informer and shit at the time, and you have Lightning's character all over all the promotion for it, and it's a really good, strong character design.
Oh, yeah. She's
But
one of the best.
yeah,
I mean, design wise.
design wise, yes, and exclusively
If I could
because it's
recommend,
just fucking cool,
yeah, if if
badass.
if you like 13, you would probably like 7 because 7. I mean, 13 was
Yeah.
designed to be like a copy paste of
Yep.
7. Lightning is literally supposed to be a female Cloud.
Yep. I am okay with that.
Yeah.
But Cloud is already female Cloud.
Don't get me started on that scene, boy. Everybody knows about that scene.
You can't not know about that scene.
Well, the thing is, I didn't know about that scene when I first played the game.
There's like, God, what is it? There's of course at least two scenes, that one and the other one that everybody knows about at this point.
So, get this, right? Um,
Yes.
there are blind boxes that have like little low poly figurines of the Final Fantasy VII characters,
Mm-hmm.
and one the secret one, the because they always have secret ones. The
Yeah, of
secret one is
course.
Cloud and Drag.
As you do.
Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
uh, Dragon Quest is also very good too. I highly recommend that series.
Mm-hmm.
Although I know that's not as big in the West as Final Fantasies.
So I assume you haven't played the Shenmue 3.
No, what is that?
Do you know the Shenmue games?
No, what is that?
So they are, God, I don't even know how to describe them. I have not played them myself, but the original games were very well known because of the way that they kind of, oh, how do I do this? Copy link. Um, God, I don't know them well enough to speak from like a place of authority on this, but from what I know from hearing other people talk about them, they did things that were revolutionary in the context of the like RPG gaming space at the time that pushed the genre as a whole forward, which is why Shenmue and Shenmue 2 are regarded the way that they are. Finally, in 2019, like 18, like it was something like 18 years later. It was more than 10 years later. Shenmue 3 finally came out with the support of fans of the game, supporting the original director and their team in making it.
Hmm.
And it was dogged to shit because like, it's not a good game. It's just not a good game. So I'll send you this link to it. Video Game Donkey has a hilarious video of him playing through it that is very entertaining, but from like an understanding why Shenmue 3 is a bad game, there's a video by Super Eye Patch Wolf on YouTube that is like half an hour long. It's pretty long. It's 48 minutes. It's 48 minutes. It's a very long video, but it does an excellent job of explaining the problems in Shenmue 3 and what made the original Shenmue games as good as they were.
Interesting. That does sound cool.
Yeah. So I was curious there because I had only started to hear about it in like the last 12 months. So I was like, wait, is this actually a 2021 game? No, it came out in 2019. It's just not very good. And the gist of why the new one isn't good is because they just haven't really done anything to progress the game itself in the story, in the technical aspects of it, in really anything since the last game.
Hmm. Another thing I should probably point out, since we're talking about RPGs and like progressing and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
if you ever do decide to play Final Fantasy VII, do
Yeah,
not play the remake.
I've heard that they've changed some things.
Yeah, the remake is its own beast and not a remake of the actual game.
Yeah,
And in
it's more
order
like
to,
a retelling almost, from what I've heard.
yeah, it is very much a retelling. And I've seen the retelling. And I'm like, no one who hasn't seen the original is going to appreciate the retelling of it.
Yeah, and the thing for me with it is that if I'm ever gonna play the remake,
Yeah.
I would at least wait for the full game to be released
Oh, you
because
mean not part
it's
103?
yeah, I still can't believe that that's how they decided to do it.
I mean, granted, it's going to be a massive game when it's done,
Oh
but
yeah, no, it will be, and hopefully it'll be good. I mean, it seems like even though it's not what people expected, the remake is still good and being well received.
yeah, I mean, I just fear that it's going to be inconsistent. So, like, we
Mhm.
know the part one is pretty good,
Yeah.
like part two, what if it's just utter dog shit trash? And then
Yeah.
part three, it's back to being semi good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess in that case, that would be where playing the original first, using that as the baseline, and then playing the remakes as like a supplemental thing would fit in. You know,
I would say so.
appreciate how graphics have improved and how they've changed, how storytelling has changed as well.
I mean, I like the idea because it's basically like for the first part of the remake, it's like there's this TVA ghost that sets everything to go in the original plot every time it starts to deviate.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole plot of the first part of the remake is to get rid of the TVA ghost.
Yeah.
And once you do, it's like, oh snap, anything can happen now. And
Yeah.
it's genuinely exciting after that. But it's
Mm-hmm.
also like, I feel bad for the poor guy who wanted to try Final Fantasy VII for the first time, then got this.
Yeah. And there's definitely going to be a lot of that because that's kind of how it was billed for a really long time.
Yeah,
You know, it is called Final Fantasy VII Remake. That carries implication.
unfortunately. I think they did say they're doing an actual like remake of 7,
Yeah.
like an actual remake without the whole yeah.
I don't know. I would wonder, you know, a lot of game design is centered on like making the assets for it, you know?
Yeah.
So now that they have that, I would be curious how hard it would be to make more versions of it at this point. As I can't imagine it would be that hard. It would
Yeah.
be substantially either than having to start from scratch at the very least.
I know there's like one part like the remake thing that they're doing is like remaking all the supplemental games that go into like the story,
Mm-hmm.
like making the movie into a game, blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Yeah. Trying to remember the name of it though. Oh well. Do we have anything else we want to cover? Or are we just going to talk video games?
Just video games.
Hell yeah.
No, I think that's about it though. That's about what all I have.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I think it'll be really interesting to see because we've talked a lot about how the film industry has been impacted by COVID, but you don't get the same vibes from other industries, even though they too are, of course, being impacted in the same ways. In you know, I play a lot of Magic the Gathering. I follow it pretty heavily, and we've started to see the impacts of COVID in Magic the Gathering with one of the recent set releases, where they had to start going to a work from home environment at the
Okay.
onset of the pandemic, and the not the last set release, but the set before that, they've basically admitted on Twitter that because of that, it impacted their workflow and they weren't able to do the testing that they normally would to the extent that they would. And to a degree, it seems like because of that, things fell through the cracks that would have normally have been caught. I'll be really curious to see if we can see something similar in more traditional gaming spaces, video game spaces.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't either, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see, right?
Yeah. Um a big thing I've noticed is the music industry cuz like you
Mm.
don't notice this often, but like there's been very little new music.
Yeah. Yep.
It's cuz artists don't want to release something new and not be able to promote it,
Yep.
which is really annoying. But oh well.
I'll I'll say though, as frustrating as it has been, it is very exciting to see things like that start to return to normal. I'm set up to go to a concert in October for Porter Robinson that
Ooh,
I am beyond excited for because oh my god, is the new his newest album just phenomenal.
that's pretty cool.
So it's very exciting. It is nice to see things like that start to happen again at all.
Will say it's weird to be one of the few people that put out an album in 2020, so go me.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
2020 release coming never. I don't know when the fuck this new album's going to be finished.
I think that's about it, though.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
We'll for sure need to talk more about the whole Activision Blizzard thing at some point, though, because
Well, details are still coming
that's
out.
oh my god, yeah, that's the kind of thing that I would like want to have a bunch of links and stuff planned out ahead of time just to not fuck it up
Well, it's very
because
touchy, yes.
it's so deep. There's so much to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a. I apologize to everybody that had to work through that.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, I'm Miss Orion, and Donda by Kanye West is never coming out.
I'm Cairo, and I'm also a schmo.
And this has been the Two Schmo Show. Have a good night, everybody. I just disconnected my mic by accident.
Sorry, what's that?
So I'm still recording right now, but instead of ending the recording, I just left the room thinking that would disconnect it. Because I was thinking to myself, did I pronounce Donda correct? Because like I've been wanting to make a joke about Kanye, juking us out of an album, and then
Mhm.
I spent too much time thinking about that, and now we have this awkward ass ending. Look what you made me do, Kanye. Damn it, Kanye.